Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Well, I tell you, that handsome virgin, it never gets old. I love that. What's that? One more time? All right. Oh, I love that. I love that. Um, yeah, it's that makes my day. On my worst days, I could play that, and everything's right in the world. Connie Bomber! Speaking of everything right in the world, I think I saw Connie Bomber is here. So Lola Love was here first, and I'm just gonna scroll all the way to the last. And okay, Marcia Ware, you're the last one in here. Very good. Oh no, Carlita Simone, thank you very much. No, Andrea Best. All right, I can do this all day. I better stop looking at who was here last. Okay, let's go there. I love this photo. Beautiful photo. It's just what the derangers want to see. Speaking of derangers, so Lydia made a suggestion yesterday that I turn the comments off on one of the shorts. Well, actually, the shorts, especially if it mentions Princess Megan. I don't know what it is about that, but they are losing their minds about that. She's not and it would be enough to give it a thumbs down because engagement is engagement. But there was one guy that went through this whole lengthy explanation. Well, if she was born a princess, that's the only way she could be called a princess in her own right. Otherwise, the only way she could be a princess is if she's married to the Prince of Wales. Or she is a princess because her husband is a prince. Now, sure, you're supposed to call her Princess Henry of Wales, or you can just say Princess Megan. I don't know why that bothers them that bad. Tyler Perry called her a princess. Beyonce called her a princess, and they're billionaires. So if the billionaires are unanimous with her being a princess, then I'm okay with it too. Until I hear otherwise, is Princess Megan. The Rangers, that's a princess. Now, you call her Duchess of Sussex or whatever. I'm sure she doesn't care one way or the other. Oh, CD, thank you so much for the cash app. Thank you very much. All right. And Legs, you have a super chat. Legs says, what's your name? Is Prince William? Who? Prince William. I'm a counter of the Earthshot Prize. Earth Flop. What? I am so sorry. Not on the list. Exactly. Thank you, Leg. Thank you. Okay. And so, as I was saying, I love that photo. I don't know who took these. Maybe if I didn't crop their name out. But no, I'm just kidding. I think it was gosh, who took that photo? I don't know where I got it from. Um, anyway, it's a beautiful photo. I love it. It's like my new favorite photo. Yeah, I don't see any credit on it, but gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Um, it's like they're watching fireworks. I think that big giant LED lighting wall that they have behind the stage, I don't know how much it costs to have those or to buy those or to operate those, but that is a game changer. Look at the way it bathes everyone in the front row all the way back. Look at how it bathes their face with that light. That light is incredible. To me, it's not as intense as a sunset, but like remember the thumbnail from yesterday? I mean, look at that. Uh-oh. Is that oh, I'm sorry, oh, I see what I did here. Okay, no problem. All right. So yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I like the glow that comes off the stage. Love that. It's radiant. And Harry looks so smart and so handsome in his black suit with a black shirt. And dialing back the formality, he's not wearing a necktie. Perfect look. I'm telling you, whenever Megan showed up in his life, he started dressing better, eating better. He's healthy, he's fit, he's happy, he has a family. Everything has gone right. And maybe that's what bothers the derangers so bad. I mean, I have looked at some of the ugliest comments, ugly, and not just about the princess. Um, and I would like to believe that some of those are bots. I do believe some of them are bots, but then some of them are just so well thought out. They really want to take the joy out of the moment, and that's just not possible, especially when I'm just a weirdo and I get off on the fact that it bothers them so much. Um, the more angry they are, the more it reminds me just how much they are bothered by it. It's really a shame. It's really a shame. They don't want anyone to have happiness. And, I'll say this, it just goes to show how efficient this hate campaign has been, that you have people repeating talking points. Let me give you a case in point of one of the talking points. Um, it's the Earl of Dumbarton, right? The Earl of Dumbarton. We went over this, I don't know how many times. Someone who may or may not um, actually have thought of it themselves, may or may not have been in a back and forth or just monitoring social media and listening to the derangers, because even though I can't stand this Easter Island head individual, I would hate to believe that she is so stupid that she actually was the one who first thought up this idea. They didn't want the title Earl of Dumbarton for Archie because no, I'm sorry, because the name starts with dumb. It spells out dumb. And then, of course, Mr. No Neck, Mr. Gasping for Air, um, um, Robert Jobson, actually took her to school and told her that they don't have a way to refuse it for Archie because Prince Harry is already the Earl of Dumbarton, and you can't have two at the same time. And when Prince Harry is no longer here, then Archie would be the Earl of Dumbarton, and he could decide at that point whether or not he wants that title. And that just goes to show you how manipulative they are. Now, that was well over a year ago, and that wasn't a bot, that was not a bot. Someone repeated that word for word, well, not word for word, but the same idea that came from this person's tweet or column or whatever it was. So they are manipulative, and they have managed to give people talking points to repeat, and they don't even have the basic knowledge of what they're talking about. Whatever it is they're speaking of, they have little or no basic knowledge. And so, as a last resort, because of the joy of the moment, they are pulling everything out of the bag. I was just blown away when I saw the comment about, and they didn't want the title Earl of Dumbarton because it spells out dumb in the beginning. I'm like, are you serious? And I started to answer that person. I said, nah, answer them, then block them, and then they won't know that I won't know what they responded to mine. That's how you do it. You respond, block, and then when they try to respond back again, it just goes into cyberspace or wherever those useless comments come from. So, you know, this is why it doesn't bother me one bit to make fun of people in that um, tacky family, because they have weaponized some of the dumbest people on the face of the earth to go after people that they don't know, to defend people who wouldn't even dare have them in their saloon, let alone go to their houses for anything. They don't even care that you don't have food to eat. They don't care that you can't pay your electric bill or your gas bill or whatever. They don't care. All they do is show up and do a little smile and a wave. And they are trying to defend those people. Otherwise, what else could it be other than just racism? If it isn't racism, what could it be? But anyway, that's enough of those people for now. I am going to do some dragging after I'm done enjoying the Invictus game 2023. So, speaking of which, this seems to be a worry for people. Now, when I saw the scene, when I saw the video and everything, I kind of thought this was going to be a thing, but I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to give them any ideas. But you have men in uniform, sure enough, they're in uniform. But you have Megan in a jacket, sport coat, whatever, and she's wearing an outfit that have shorts and top, and right behind her you have a grown adult man who has just won a fitness challenge of some sort, wearing spandex, followed by another man wearing spandex. Now, unless you're a superhero, how many times will you see someone in spandex right next to someone in a military uniform? Not often. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? She's not in spandex. This is a picnic like setting at a sports event. This is not the Commonwealth Day ceremony. Um, and for that matter, I can't imagine that Megan is showing anything more than what Kate has done before she realized that those short dresses that she was wearing may be a bit juvenile for someone her age. But I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen her seated next to the Queen, and whatever she had on when she sat down, it went up. And nobody said anything about it because they love seeing Kate's legs. Kate showing her legs. She's youthful, to blah, 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 blah. She's showing her legs. Well, I don't see the problem here. I don't see the problem. They are at the end of summer at a sports event, and Megan was asked to walk with the winners, the medalists, and so she did. Now they had the option at that point to say no, well, or yes, we want you to walk. She did not ask them. I saw the video where the guy was giving her instructions about walking with the athletes, and she said yes. So I don't even know that she even knew that this was part of the event. But whether she did or she did not, what she has on is rather modest, all things considered, for a summer day. And she was asked to do it. And like a good soldier, she said yes. And that's it. I mean, she did the same thing wearing skinny jeans. She did the same thing wearing a dress. Now she's doing the same thing wearing shorts. I don't understand what the fuss is about. Or is it something else? Just like Harry found out. Or is it something else? Well, what could that something else be? I think the something else has to do with the fact that she is a woman of African descent in the family that is at the very top of the pyramid of the aristocracy. And obviously that bothers them. So, as Royal Suitor so wisely wrote in that column, and of course, it was even read aloud by James O'Brien, that bothers them that she's up there at the top and that these people are obliged to show deference. If they are royalists, if they're monarchists, they're obliged to show deference because when they take the oath, especially, let's see, which one is that? The oath where it says to the sovereign and all their heirs and relations and such. Well, now she's in the family way. She's part of the family, so that includes her. There was even one of the Polish players or athletes that actually bowed his head to her. He felt as though that was something he wanted to do, so he did. Showing that type of respect. That was a choice. It wasn't anything that she asked for. So it still bothers them after all this time, after everything that's been said and done. It still bothers them. They just don't like the fact that she even showed up. They don't like the fact that she participated. And I guess they were waiting for the closing ceremony so that they can, excuse me, launch the next attack. Well, the thing is, the closing ceremony did not involve anything in particular for Meghan. And as I pointed out yesterday, Harry had a very low key role in the closing ceremony. It was shorter, I believe, than the one from the year before. And it seemed like it was formatted differently. So, whatever the case is, they already had a plan for how they were going to close out the Invictus Games. They already had a plan for how formal things would be at the Invictus game. And part of that formality or informality involved Meghan participating in the way that she did. She was so popular, so many people screaming for her, wanting to take selfies and pictures. And that's not even counting the Nigerian aunties. They didn't like that. That was their worst nightmare from the Oceania tour. That was their worst nightmare from Harry taking her to all the realms of the United Kingdom. Was that before the wedding? I think that was before the wedding. Yeah. That was all their worst nightmares. That popularity. They cannot stand it. It really started with the visit to the radio station. And I recall one of the people said, I just got off from work. I heard one of the royals were here and I really wasn't interested. But then when I found out that it was Harry and Meghan, oh, I thought, well, I guess I can stay for a little while, right? And that's exactly what happened. these were people that were caught up in their daily commute, and they saw that there was some fuss going on, and they decided to take the time to wait and see them arrive and wait until they left, and then they went home. Not exactly the effect that the rest of the family is comfortable with. We've seen it before. Leg says they would prefer she cosplay military like Kate. Yeah, wear something that's kind of like an interpretation of a military uniform. And of course, have one of those, what do they call it? One of those honor, oh, I know, patronages. The patrons of the Royal Marines or the Household Cavalry and all of that stuff. And then, of course, if you're lucky, you can do like Princess Anne at the age of 70 plus, hop on the back of a horse and wear your finest, of course. You have to wear your finest Napoleonic uniform. So, yeah, you put on your Napoleonic uniform, hop on a horse, and no, don't ride side saddle. Just get on there just like one of the dudes. And escort your brother to his coronation. That they would appreciate. So yeah, thank you, Legs. Hey, Joan Garcia, Netherlando, Nian Denny is here. Brenda Phillips, Caroline, Lucy Wynn, B. Martim, Tash Mack, Joanne Baker, welcome, welcome. Trevor Rodney, Justice Siempre. All right. Lorna Murray, all right. Marjorie Austin. Okay, so, and then of course, there's another view. And then, of course, Harry wearing jeans and a button down shirt and some just loafers, right? Escorting men in spandex again. Was there a problem with that? Should he have worn a tie? Right? Was he supposed to wear a tie for this? Now, Harry has uniforms, but he's not allowed to wear them, right? So, like I said, this is a picnic-like setting, and we don't know, you know, we don't know, but this is a picnic-like setting, and that's all there is to it. Let's see. You know, what bothers me about this whole thing with Willie coming to town is how come Willie is not going to the Commonwealth? The Queen has been gone for a year. And what is it? The first trip, his dad goes to Germany. Next, he goes to, wait, did they do Paris yet? Did they do Paris yet? Yes or no? I don't recall. And of course, Willie went over to Paris. No, they didn't do that yet because I forgot. Willie went over there for the rugby match, right? Even though he couldn't go to Australia because his father hadn't been there, but he did go to the rugby match. Well, anyway, why don't they go to the Commonwealth? That is where they're needed. That is part of their domain. William is going to be the head of state in several places abroad. You would think that he would start there, but instead he's going to New York. Now, I was listening to Spaces today, and I learned something about that, and that is something to the effect of Bloomberg's wife that he divorced is of English heritage, and the daughters are, back and forth or live over there or whatever. And so that may have been a segue into the situation, perhaps, maybe, who knows? But whatever the case is, they, he has an audience with Bloomberg. Okay, he has some connection with Bloomberg, and in spite of that, by the way, thank you for your comment. In spite of that, it was Bloomberg's news that exposed the fact that Williams' Earthshot money was at a bank that was involved in fossil fuels and, oh gosh, what else was it? It was things that had an impact on the environment, things that they won't mention in the Daily Mail, right? They won't mention that in the Daily Mail. They took all the time in the world to talk about it in Bloomberg, and Bloomberg is supposed to be his friend. He's counting on Bloomberg. So I don't know if that was like a little warning to Willie, don't expect too much or what, but he wants to be a global statesman. But he hasn't ended homelessness in the UK. Why don't you focus on what's going on at home? Oh, I forgot. I know why. Harry. He wants to try to outdo Harry. So anyway, there they are. They have fulfilled their obligations for the time being, and hand in hand, they go on about their business. Like I say, it was a very informal occasion, and that's that. And furthermore, that is Harry's wife. That is why she's there. They tried to shout her down by saying, "Oh, why is she going? What purpose? That's Harry's, and she always wants everything to be for herself." That is her husband. She is his wife. And they are a team. Harry lit up like a Christmas tree when Meghan showed up. As a matter of fact, Meghan elevated the entire, and I do mean the entire Invictus game. She elevated everything, as evident by the way, especially the young people, the Nigerian aunties, everybody wanted some type of FaceTime with her. So if that's someone who's not welcome or someone who wasn't needed, then what was that all about? They don't even want to think about that. It is so much easier to hate. Hate comes so easy for some people. So they'd rather focus on that. I'm going to, let's see, where is that at here? I want to show you one of the videos that really set them off. This one. They claim that people ignored her. And this is after they watched it or not watched it, but they claim that people ignored her and they really only wanted to talk to Harry. Seriously, derangers, please get yourself some help. So get yourself some help. Toni Morrison, I think it was Toni Morrison that said that racism is a mental health thing. It is part of insanity to have this idea that someone is less than because they don't look like you or they don't come exactly from where you come from, or there's some type of something that you can hold against them and declare yourself superior. Yeah, that's that. It's just breathtaking. I cannot believe how Meghan went from basically living the life of a working actress in Toronto and has been vilified to the point where she has to have protection at all time. But we know how it happened. We know how it happened. This is something that evolved from Kensington Palace. This is something that evolved from Clarence House. That's where it started. That is where it started. And the attempt was to separate the two of them, and it didn't work out. It backfired. It just backfired in the most epic way. It backfired. Now they don't have either one of them. You wanted to get rid of one, and somehow you managed to get rid of both. Brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. You were trying to rid yourself of one by trying to make her as unhappy, by having her as isolated, moving the goalposts repeatedly, and you know, if with any luck, Harry would do some milk ads in China. Oh wait, no, that's Afro Annie's son. But either way, they wanted to string them along like they did the Wessexes, right? At any rate, turn them into the Wessexes. Whether she stays or goes, make them a Wessex couple, right? They tried to be independent and it didn't work out. So they got a big house and some money for their pockets, and they're okay. That was never going to work for them. That was never going to work. They're too intelligent. Harry, as far as I'm concerned, Harry is out of all those Windsors that are alive today, he is the most intelligent. Full stop. The most intelligent. Not even going to debate it. The most intelligent out of all those Windsors. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And of course, the young people. The young people. What else can you say about that? The young people. They seemed so animated at the sight of Meghan. I wonder what that was. And not just the girls, but the boys too. They seem so animated. These little young kids. They want to visit Meghan. They want to talk to Meghan. They want to wave to Meghan. Before it was all about Harry. And then when Meghan came, it was like they were back and forth, back and forth. But you wouldn't know that by the string of nasty, negative comments declaring otherwise. I mean, you got the video in front of you. What more evidence do you need? But that's not the point. Let's see. Marinus New Yorkers can be mean and petty. They don't even know. Well, if it's anything like the way the Bostonians treated the Cambridges when they showed up, if it's anything like that, because I think that most people in Boston was rather flippant about the idea that the media tried. What did you think about the Royals? The Royals, the Royals. Nobody cared. They had some people, maybe from the consulate. I believe they have a consulate general in Boston. They usually have one in every major city. And perhaps a few expats or whatever living in Boston that they managed to round up. They know how to round up people for those little meet and greets on the streets and stuff like that. They know how to round up people for that. Just like when remember when Charles did not announce that he was going to that office block that day, and there were people outside and there were people inside the lobby. And when he went, there had been nothing on his diary about it, but they had went and got the people out the offices and had them stand out there. These were not like tourists or anything. These were office workers. So they were given the instructions to go wait outside, and some of them waited on the inside. And it was not announced. So if they didn't announce it, why were all those people there? Why were all those people there? And not just any people in their little corporate clothes, because they came from the offices. So they'll do the same thing for New York. I don't doubt that they'll have some type of gathering of sort. But I tell you, Um, if I know what I'm hoping to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, B. Martin. Oh boy. Cass Sterling says we in New York City could care less about Baldy. We have enough problems to worry about. Here, here. Yeah, New Yorkers are very blasé about people like that. I mean, because I've spent some time in Midtown and I saw those motorcades going back and forth to the UN, and I was the only person that was like, "Ooh, I wonder who that is." The New Yorkers were very blasé about it. So it's only a tourist thing when you're in Manhattan. Most people, they don't pay attention. They don't crane their necks trying to see who this person is or who that person is, because that's a daily occurrence. That could happen at any given time. But thank you for your comment. Okay, let me move on. So they finally wrote something about this, um, and I'm pretty sure that it. Well, you know what? Maybe they'll just let it die out. Maybe they don't want to draw people's attention to it. But Harry, when he mentioned you don't have to be in uniform, I could only imagine how that would have landed on some of the people in that family, because that is their stock in trade for formal events, is to don those military uniforms. Now, um, in the U.S., our president is a civilian. They're the commander in chief, but they're civilians. Vice president is a civilian. As close as a president gets to uniforms are the jackets that are made for Air Force One or sweater, um, and maybe a baseball cap, and that's it. That's as close as they get to a uniform. Um, Other than that, it is a two-piece or three-piece suit. Um, for the vice president, she's usually wearing a power suit. That's it. There is no connection between the civilian head of the government, the executive of the government, and the military. They don't cosplay ever. Even the ones that have had military experience do not cosplay. And yet, the saddest of them all, the one who looks the saddest to me, is Edward. Edward in those uniforms, and who knows what's going on with Edward, because Edward, I just saw some recent photos of Edward, and Edward looks even worse, whatever's going on. Um, Knowing that he didn't last long in the service and that he has to put those uniforms on, that has got to be humiliating. I wonder if he has the option to just wear street clothes, to wear a suit, because it is insulting to people who have had the full experience of the military. It's insulting to them. And not just because of him, but the entire family. It's an insult. And even if they have had the military experience, I'm not comfortable with the idea of the military uniform for a head of state. Um, the only other countries where you see something like that, if it's not a monarchy, it is usually a dictatorship or some authoritarian government somewhere. But everybody else is usually a civilian. So, let me see. All right. Is it Nitu's Sima? Doreen, I see I got you there, and finally 4 a.m. in Uganda. This week I have been as happy as a goat. I never heard that before, happy as a goat, but okay, well, I'm glad. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that all of these wonderful things happening with the Sussexes is bringing you joy. There she goes, the Duchess of Advocacy. A must tune in for the Sunday mornings. She was on today. And you know what? This is one of the few times that I didn't post the link. I usually look for it so I could post it the night before, and I don't believe I did. So I was listening to you earlier, though, listening to the replay. Let me see here. I'm going to grab it right now. And it should be easy because I think it was the last thing I watched. Okay. Okay, got it. And there we go. So you guys, especially some of the old school Sussex squad, you know, we don't have our usual Sunday morning Tina and Michelle, but Duchess of Advocacy comes on most Sundays, and hopefully, I pray that the Lady Sussex will be back soon. I'm not sure, but she had an emergency situation in her family, so I hope she comes back soon. But there you go. And then I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Okay. All right. Got it. I got it. Oh, babe. Oh, Lydia has it here too. Okay. Let me do that. Okay. There you go. So the collision of Harry's words and that family. Um, like I said, I can't imagine what took them so long to bring it up, but it seemed like they waited for a minute. I guess they wanted to wait to see how people were going to respond. The royal family, they didn't snub Harry, they snubbed the military. They did not snub Harry, they snubbed the military. Oh, MR, thank you so much for the Cash App. And thank you for being here watching Royal Sussex. Oh, geez. Okay. Um, I, I clicked on the, I was looking for something and found a headline I did not really care to see. Okay, so I wasn't going to do much about that one. So that's why I don't even have a screenshot prepared. However, let me just go over a few points of that one. Okay, so Prince Harry tells veterans you shouldn't feel lost without your uniform. Uh-huh. Okay. And like I said, it wasn't a snub to Harry, it was a snub to the military that people who have served in the British Armed Forces, they didn't get any encouragement, not only from the royal family, but Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak, that little flea had nothing to say. Prince Harry told veterans you should not feel lost without a uniform during his emotional closing speech at the Invictus Games 3 years after he was stripped of his military titles in the wake of them leaving. I don't use that M word. Let me see. The Duke of Sussex was visibly emotional in a heartfelt speech last at the closing ceremony of the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. They, you know what? This This isn't much of an article. There's nothing to it. They just want to remind you that he wasn't allowed to wear his uniform, but there's no like. Well, of course, you're not going to hear any criticism of the family or anything like that. Well, it does say his words were met with cheers and applause by the crowd within the arena. He paid homage to competitors who had provided the magic during the games for the wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women. So they did say it was met with applause, but doesn't look like they're challenging his words at all. So okay, that was that. But yeah, what a petty family. What a petty, petty family. And let's see. Oh, it looks like there's a super chat. Oh, there we go. Barbara Lane, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Sunday night. Happy Invictus weekend. Happy Monday morning, in case it's Monday morning where you are. But thank you very much. Well, you could take Rishi Sunak and put him in your shirt pocket and just carry him around for the day. He's so tiny, such a tiny person, literally and figuratively small. Okay. And then, of course, one of the squatties posted this: if standing up for yourself burns a bridge, I have matches. We ride at dawn. I know I've seen that somewhere before on a meme, and perfect for this situation. Perfect for this situation. And of course, let us not forget that other meme. Let me see, where's the other meme? There we go. Rada-da, rada-da. You have picked the wrong chicks to mess with. You have picked the wrong chicks to mess with. But yeah, um, that is, I like that. Them they are fighting words, I suppose. But there's more people that are supportive of both of the Sussexes, and of course the military. As much as they have tried to put a wedge between Harry and the military, it's just not working out for them. They're not able to do that. You have either proudly served or you have not. It takes Malcolm Nance to really put it into words, but they have been unsuccessful. And especially here in the United States, especially here in the United States, I don't know if this is common knowledge to people outside of the country, but there is a whole um, veteran hospital system in the United States. Every major metropolitan area in the country has a veterans hospital where all of your care is free of charge. And of course, there's a lot of benefits that are available to the veterans. And I'm sure they have different sorts of that type of thing just about everywhere. But things have come a long way where veterans are concerned. And of course, there's always the room to do so much more. But there are systems in place. And like I mentioned, the last thing I saw was the Fisher House. They You can donate. I don't know if it was to them or to an agency that they work with, but you can donate your air miles that you have collected all these years. You can donate those to the families of Fisher House. So there's things in place. And the reason why I'm saying that is just this. is that there's a long tradition of taking care of veterans here in this country. And veterans have, I think the worst time was after Vietnam when veterans were so vilified. But we've learned from that, and things are so much better. We have managed to distance the war from the warrior, and in so many cases it just comes down to this: don't mess with the veterans. That's not something that we do. And and that's the way it ought to be. That is the way it ought to be. In the US, the veterans board the plane before the rest of the people. In the US, even though you can't, what is it, military families, if military families are flying, they can bring their families to the terminal. I cannot do that because I have not served. But if I was in the military, my family can come right there to the gate, like in the old days when things weren't so tight. So we've learned. We have learned. So Harry's in a good place. That's my point. He's in a good place. California, you know how they were trying to say, oh, if you wanted your privacy, which is something that they never said, um, if you wanted your privacy, why would you go to California? Well, California has laws. California is, you know, it's not exactly the blase of New York, like, where they don't really care. There's a celebrity someplace, um, but they do have a paparazzi culture. But it's not the. I mean, just like Megan said, I visited a Fisher House before I came to Invictus, like she said last month or something like that. There's no photos. There's no photos of Megan visiting the Fisher House. So they probably do a lot of things that no one is aware of, and I'm convinced that at some of the restaurants and everything, yes, there may be the occasional person that makes that phone call, but truth is they do that for a lot of people. So they're in a good place. There's laws that protect them. They live in a very wealthy community where there's a lot of people who are um, diligent about their home security and such. So they're in a good place. So much better off than being over there, where they would be subject to the whims of Willie and the capricious nature of his father and their wives and such. So much better off. And of course, and you know what? I just went blank. Wait, Frankie? Oh my goodness, I just went blank. But yeah, this was quite the moment when when Megan reached out, and by the way, she's from Team UK. When Megan had reached out for her, and she reached out for Megan, and this woman is like, how do I put it? Just Superman or Superwoman. Incredibly, just it's a the story, the whole story of her um, being in all of these different competitions and stuff. And was it the when she had to do the rowing because she couldn't be there with everybody else, that the other team members rowed with her so she wouldn't be by herself. But anyway, that was very sweet. Um, I think for everything that happened with Invictus, the night of the closing was the perfect ending for the whole week. That was a perfect ending. And you know what, guys? I'm going to say this. In spite of all of the noise that's coming out, and don't forget the Monday morning shows will be on, but in spite of all the noise that's coming out, let us not forget that this happened, right? And let us not forget that this happened. I mean, there's Bill Nelson from NASA. Um, and let's see, was it the Veteran Affairs from? Oh, okay, I'm not going to name all those people, but you have these big shots sitting up here with Harry, and then of course the NATO photo. Let's not forget this happened. Harry has definitely elevated his stature this week. It was already up there, but I would say he has elevated his stature even further because of how big the moment was. The Hague was nice, but this was huge. I mean, they filled up an arena. Yeah, Tashmak, the NATO photo was particularly mind blowing for them. It was particularly mind blowing. They did not like that photo. Yeah, former Senator Bill Nelson. Now, was he an astronaut? Is that why they thought NASA was a good idea, or did he just, or does he just like NASA? Okay. Oh, yes, the ambassador to Germany. That's the lady, right? Let's see. Not here, but in the NATO photo. I love the fact that they have their kids there. I love the fact that the kids are there. It almost looks like one big giant family photo, like a family reunion. Like a family reunion. It almost reminds me of a family reunion. Good night, Connie Bomer. Thanks for staying up with us. Okay, he retired from the Senate and head of NASA. Thank you, Leslie F. You know, I keep wanting to call him Major Nelson because I keep thinking of Tony Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie. I keep wanting to call him Major Nelson because I'm thinking NASA, I Dream of Jeannie, Major Nelson, space rockets, or whatever. And then, of course, these this senator, of course, Senator Awoba, to partner Meghan Markle in period poverty fight. Um, and let's see, where are we here? Oh, I can't see that very top part there. Hold on a second. Okay, I'll do it like this. So, nominated Senator Gloria Oroba or Woba has hinted at a possible partnership with Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, on a campaign to end period poverty. Speaking to the Nairobi News, the senator said she is set to meet Meghan to discuss the issue. We have rescheduled to meet Meghan. She runs a program on period poverty. Um, so that what does that mean? Period poverty, like ending poverty, or anyway. So that is the connecting point. Senator Oroba said. Miss Oroba participation in the Invictus Games in the United Kingdom brought her into contact with Prince Harry. I think they meant Germany, though, right? Period poverty, a global concern affecting millions of girls. Oh, okay. You know what? I didn't catch on to that. I'm just like, period poverty, meaning that they don't have access to hygiene products. I get it. I get it. I just never heard it like that. I'm like, what is period poverty? Okay, that's embarrassing. But oh, I see you guys in the comments. I'm just like, what? Um, Anyway, Marco has been a passionate advocate for breaking the silence surrounding this issue and has launched initiatives aimed at providing resources and support for those affected. Kenya, like many other nations in the world, faces challenges related to that, with girls and women often lacking access to that. Okay, and I'm done. All right. I just never heard it mentioned like that before. Period poverty. I'm just like, period poverty. Obviously, I hadn't looked at this before. I was in a rush as I'm sitting here blushing. Yeah, definitely. Same thing with India, where because what happens is because of the stigma. I mean, I do know a little bit about it. Because of the stigma, the girls end up quitting school because they can't afford to find sanitary products. And so I know that there was one company, they took I forgot what it was, but it took some like leftover product. I don't know if it was like the leaves of bananas, or was it pineapples? It was some kind of byproduct from agriculture, and they made oh no, or was it something that they were able to process and bleach it and everything? But yeah, so they were able to make them um, so that that people would have access to them. Because what a shame to want an education, and then all of a sudden, because of that stigma, then all of a sudden you can't go to school anymore. So let me see. Dara Edgehill says, Baron, remember when Harry and Meghan were in South Africa? They stopped at a site where the woman made sanitary products. I don't, you know what? I don't have much recollection of the South Africa tour. I don't have much recollection of it. I remember Megan's speech, and I guess I should go back and research that because I think I had just started another job at that point, and so I didn't have access to the information at that time. That much I know is that I did like see a lot of the Oceania tour, but I didn't see much of South Africa, just bits and pieces. So yeah, maybe that's some homework I need to do. Oh, let me play that video where she made the nice compliment about Harry. I think I did that yesterday, but I'll do it again today. Okay. Here we go. I'm looking for it. Oh, there she is. There she is.
First time? This was 2 days ago you met him for the first time?
Last night.
Yeah, oh, last night?
Last night, yeah.
So, what was that like?
I don't know, it was surreal. It was just, one of those moments I can't really say, because we read about a lot about him and you see him on TV and there's all these notions we think about him, but meeting him in person just it changed everything, because for me I realized like he's so human and he's so down to earth and very he connects with the people. And there was an incident when we were sitting at the stand, and there was this guy that came, and he was like, please, Prince Harry, could you hold this picture of, I think it was a family member that had passed away during the war, and he wanted a photo of Prince Harry holding the picture of the family member. And I was thinking, I was so nervous because I thought like, that was, and he just went like, oh, is this your family member? Yeah, sure, no problem. And he held the picture, and I just thought to myself, look at that. That's his, I am still like soaking it in, but I think these are some of the leaders that we need in this world. People.
Well, if you think that's bad, you ought to see when I'm on Spaces and they start talking about the bedroom stuff. Oh my God, I cannot get out of Spaces fast enough. If you ever in Spaces and you want to get rid of me, just start talking that kind of stuff, and I'm out. I'm just like, "Ugh, let me get out of here." Let me get out of here. I mean, and I'm just like, all of a sudden they'll start making some type of lewd jokes or something like that, and I'm like, click. Let me see if there's another space open. Wait, let me go to the prayer group space. Let me see if there's another space open. Yeah, it can get pretty intense in the spaces sometimes. Okay, and let's see. Oh, Al Jazeera has an article: British monarchy is dying, and no PR can save it. Yes, this was in the Al Jazeera today. By now, the British monarchy ought to have, and I think I actually I didn't read this one either. The British monarchy ought to be, but if this has something to do with a vajayjay, I'm logging out. Yeah, if they bring up a vajayjay, I'm out of here. So by now, the British. I'm telling you, if they bring up a JJ, I'm gone. By now, the British monarchy ought to have been put into hospice care. Okay, that seems pretty innocuous. Let us continue. It would be at least, I'm sorry, it would at least be merciful to a spent vacious institution that has revealed itself to be a dying artifact of a merciless imperialist past that should be buried once and for all. Well, damn. Wait, who wrote this? Andrew Mitrovica? Mitrovica? Okay. Despite the determined efforts of the royal historians and journalists who embarrass themselves, I know that's like, and the professions that purport to serve the inevitable decay into irrelevant farce of King Charles III. Oh, this is riveting reading, isn't it? And trifling company was made plain yet again on the first anniversary of the Queen Elizabeth II's death last week. Gosh, this guy is quite the writer. Church Nelly, I am going to ignore you. Uh, well, that's what Oprah used to call it of a JJ. Um, Beyond her divided family and craven constituents who, by nostalgic temperament and what is that, career necessities, prostate. Oh, here we go. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. They didn't went to the prostate. Y'all read it yourselves. I'm done. Whew. Is there anything that we can discuss that doesn't has to do with the nether regions? When people start prostrating themselves, I'm done. Oh boy. Whew. Let me take a sip of water. This thing got hot in here. Oh, okay. So, alone again, Princess Charlene of Monaco leaves Albert, Prince Albert, that is, behind as she returns to South Africa for the first time since horror illness. Remember when she was in South Africa and she said she couldn't fly back to Monaco because she had some kind of ear infection? And because of this ear infection, this mystery ear infection, the pressure of a aircraft would have caused problems. Okay. Um, and so it took a month of Sundays before she actually returned to Monaco. Now, while she was away, she had actually decided that she would shave the side of her head for some reason. It was like, I'm not saying that she did join a cult, but it seemed as though she had joined a cult, right? I'm just saying that. It was all very strange. So Albert, who happens to be the love child of Elmer Fudd and and a major Hollywood actress, um, Albert, who bears a striking, you have to admit, you have never seen Prince Albert and Elmer Fudd in the same room at the same time. Have you noticed that? You've never seen them in the same place at the same time. But Albert, um, would y'all get out of those prostates? Albert. Oh, you all are too funny. Um, how is it the next thing that comes up happens to be that, right? Uh, anyway, so there's a picture of, is it Caroline? That's a photo of her when she was in South Africa. Now, I don't know why she's in the brush with armed, look like mercenaries. It's a very strange story. And I'm surprised that the tabloids haven't taken more license with it. Usually they let their imaginations run rampant, but for some reason they, just kind of toy around with it. But as we know, the Prince of Monaco is a billionaire. He is a very wealthy man. Um, he's an absolute ruler. Um, and I would imagine that you know what? Can't even speculate because I don't want to get in trouble. But her kids are in Monaco, and she who knows when she'll come back. Yeah, but isn't she from South Africa, or was she from? Where was she from? Is she from Kenya, South Africa? She was born in Africa, though, right? But for whatever reason, she likes it there more. I guess there must be something about being a prince or a princess that you want to be in Africa. I don't know. Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here tonight. Albert, you know what? It's so much I want to say, but I can't. But let's just say this. Albert has been around, and I'm just wondering if that's the reason why, you know. It's not to say that their marriage isn't solid, but just based on his history. Now, here's another photo from the book reading from the Duchess of Sussex. She read to those kids while at the Invictus Games. And here's the one from yesterday. Oh, sorry. Here's the one from yesterday. And this is the one from today. And this is part of the book. Let me see. Scientists need parks. Give bees a chance. Sign our petition, please. Yeah, so those are the little signs that the kids are carrying. This looks like something perfect for the Duchess of Sussex, kind of like her childhood. Then others join in, not all, but a few, like Miss Leela Greer, not Green, Greer, and the kids in grade 2. How sweet. But yeah, so the book is illustrated with these photos. 3 cheers. There's a new questionnaire. Oh, and I don't know who that little kid is. That's just a random. But I will show you the video of the book in South Africa. I'm sorry, not in South Africa, in Germany. Okay. Oh boy, I cannot see that. Oh, wait a minute. So I posted that last night. And let me just try book. See if that comes up. Yeah, that helped not at all. Okay, let me try it again. Seemed like it should be right there. Are these in chronological order? Yeah, it is. So where is the book? Nope, not. Sorry, I don't see it. And I know I have it handy, but it's so small. I need to make this larger so I can see it. Because I don't see a flipping thing. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I got a copyright for that Harry dancing video. Not for the video, but for the song. And the song was included with my computer. So I'm fighting it, of course. As per usual, I'm going to fight it. Okay, you know what? I don't see the video. So never mind. How does this happen to me all the time? And I promise you, I made it. That's Yulia. That's dancing. That's the cake. That is so weird. Huh. Okay. Bear with me, folks. Give me 1 second. Because it's got to be there. Megan's book at the German bookstore. Oh, okay. And I got it. Okay. You all are so patient. I appreciate it. You complete me. You had me at book and open.
Gordon von Sussex. Oops. Okay. Nice. That's The Bench by Meghan Markle in the German library. Okay, interesting. On Zara Bank. Meghan was Gordon von Sussex. Oops.
You know what? Okay, because today is going the way that it's going, I thought this said, Baron, there's a huge prostate. I have gotten a complex now. I thought you. I thought you were going to say something about a huge prostate. I'm like, okay, enough of the prostates. Oh, you know what? I probably should have had another cup of coffee before I started. That's what I should have done. Another cup of coffee before I started. I thought I looked out the corner of my eye. Royal Sussex Baron, there's a huge prostate and booze against women. uh, okay, let me hurry up. I guess I guess it has been a busy week, hasn't it? So you were saying that there was a huge protest and booze against William's visit. There should be, should I say, in front of the media to counter attacks. Yeah, well, I wouldn't. I don't suppose it's going to happen, and of course, I am not advising anyone to do anything. Of course, this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but I cannot publicly declare something like that. So I don't suppose anything is going to happen. I think that it's going to be a very typical visit. There will be a number of people out there. Plus, the Sussex squad, we're not really like that. That's the derangers that do things like that. The Sussex squad, we're pretty placid people. So we just go to work and enjoy our off time and hang out and talk about our faves. But yeah, I don't suppose anything like that is going to happen. If it didn't happen in Boston, I doubt if anything's going to happen in New York. So it is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but um, he'll have an okay visit, I'm sure. Let me see. There were boos in Boston, and they didn't show it. Really, I didn't see that. I did not see that. Okay, all right. Well, that's what's up. Well, thank you so much for the super chat legs, and yeah, it's what I'm getting like the remember that Tootsie Roll whatever it is, I think I see becomes a Tootsie Roll to me. Tootsie Roll, a chocolate chew. Tootsie Roll, I think I'm in love with you. Well, now, whatever it is, I think I see looks like a giant prostate to me. Oh man. Um okay. You know what? Let me get Afro Annie because only Afro Annie can clear everything. You know what I'm saying? Afro Annie is good for clearing the table and stuff. So Let me roll Afro Annie, and then we'll start over. Okay, so Black Queen says, protest, protest in Boosberry. You see prostate and boobs. Ah. Apparently. Well, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. So thank you for your super chat. And thanks for reading my mind. Whatever it is, I think I see. Oh, okay. By the way, I didn't, I got so many videos. I just could not bring myself to downloading another video. But Team Columbia, it seems like Harry took extra time with them to welcome them to the Invictus games. I think they were the last to sign on, but then again, it seemed like he took extra time with everyone. But I saw a video, maybe I'll share it tomorrow, where they were being welcomed at the airport and they were regaled as heroes. And it was very sweet. It was very, very sweet. I mean, just the they had a band at the airport. They had someone in uniform with a flag. Um, it was great. It was great. I don't know what their lives are over there, if they're famous people or if they're just everyday working people, but clearly going to Dusseldorf, which is a beautiful city, and spending time with, world leaders, including Harry, all of those things had to have made memories that they will keep for the rest of their lives. And of course, our Duchess, um, it had to be very moving for them. And they should, Helene. They really should. They should do that for every team. I That was the only one that I've seen where the team came back and they got the heroes welcome at the airport. I don't think I've seen any other ones before, so I hope they do that for everyone. Judy says only family with strollers should show up, like UK. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Judy. And this is Team Columbia. All right. And there's the Duchess right there. There's Harry. And look, there's Black people in Colombia. I mean, I knew that already, but still. We almost forget that the only population of Black people that's larger than you'll find in Africa is Brazil, actually. Brazil has the largest African population outside of Africa. And the United States is what, 300 something million people? Brazil is about 200 million. So at least half, if not a lot more. I think the majority of people in Brazil have some African ancestry, truth be told. But you got a lot that don't like to, acknowledge that. And I love this photo right here. This is super cool. This is the LED screen. It took a while for me to figure that out, but this is the LED screen. And that is one of the Colombian athletes. And I didn't recognize the uniform when I first saw this photo, but that's Harry pulling his chair along for whatever event that was. And then there's part of Team Columbia right there. They were so excited. They were so excited. I looked at their Twitter account and the countdown, the preparation. I mean, just like everybody else, they were excited. But it's a good thing to see that. And oh, that's Romania. That's Romania, not Colombia, which is interesting because Colombia's flag is that Colombia or Romania? I think that's Romania. Oh, and check this out. There is Dave Wiseman from 10 years ago. They won 30 medals. 30? Wow. Wow. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the videos that I posted of Brother Dave, but there are some videos, and I'm going to share it with you. Come on out, Dave Wiseman, as Oprah would say. Come on out, Dave. Oh, man. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go.
Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. Say what? Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. I hear you. Why is he come down? Come down. Come down.
Oh, you know what? That was so small. That was the one I used for my shorts. Hold on, let me do it proper.
Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. Say what? Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. Why is he come down? Come down. Come down. I hear you. Why is he come down? Come down. Come down.
I would say that I don't know what his wife is going to do with him when he get home because he is an honorary Nigerian now. Did they have an open bar? Anyway, that's Harry and Dave Wiseman from 10 years ago. This is Harry's birthday when he turned 30 from 9 years ago, which, of course, 2014 was the first Invictus Games. I guess it was his birthday for that Invictus Games, too. So there you go. And right here, Prince Harry presents silver medal to Ukrainian swimmer Tyra at the Invictus Games. Well, they wrote an article about Tyra and Harry in the, what is it called? They have a newspaper. It is called, what is it? Whatever it is, I hope it don't remotely look like something that I'm trying not to think about. Let me see. What? Okay, there it is. Oh boy, that's just a small. I should have stayed where I was. Let me see here. I can make this larger. God, that's small. Can you all see that? That's small. Okay. Ukrainian volunteer and paramedic Yulia Paevska, known as Tyra, was presented her silver medal for the women's 50-meter freestyle in the ISD category at the 2023 Invictus Game by Prince Harry on September 16th. The Duke of Sussex were attending. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were attending the finals of the 6th Invictus Games in Dusseldorf. Our Yulia was awarded by none other than the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The Ukrainian team said on its Facebook page. Oh, they got a Facebook page. Harry and Meghan once again showed their support and excitement for Yulia at this year's Invictus Game. We are thrilled too. So that is very nice. That is very nice. I'm just, oh boy, what did I just do here? It really is unfortunate that we we have to seize on to every opportunity to point out how loved the Sussexes are. But, when there are people actively trying to destroy you, you have to remind people. And there is definitely a conspiracy of hate against them. So that's why we're here, of course. I love this photo. This is just another random that I came across, but it almost seems like they're going to walk right into you. And as you can see, security is ever so vigilant. I mean, I looked at this close up. His eyes are locked on the camera person. So Harry had two of his regular security people with him. And, I do believe the royal family is preparing to go to Whistler and to the Canadian Invictus Games. I think they're getting dressed. They're getting fitted for clothing for the. But one thing's for sure, Charles is going to have pockets, lots of pockets. He needs big pockets for his big hands. But yeah, they're going to Canada too. So don't be surprised if you see them there. And also, I hear rumor that Will and Kate are likely to show up. So again, don't be surprised if when you get to what the hell is that place? I can't remember the name of it. Whistler and something. Don't be surprised when you get there and you see the Prince and Princess of Wales there. So they're getting fitted for their costumes. And well, you know that what's her name? Camilla has been rocking the jumpsuits lately. So again, do not be surprised. You know what they say, to be forewarned. Don't be surprised if you see Camilla rocking one of them jumpsuits. So that's what I hear. I hear that they're planning to make a visit. They're going to crash the party. And for some reason, I'm not surprised about William, though. And I guess maybe one of the reasons is maybe they have a delicious pulled pork sandwich waiting for him. Who knows? They must have pulled pork sandwiches in that part of Canada. Okay. Now, I still cannot believe that they released that picture of Kitty. Celibici is of the opinion that Kitty is wearing a wig. And it does look like a wig. I mean, it literally looks like a wig. To say that it has that wiggy look would be a monumental understatement. It looks like a wig. It's got that kind of, I don't know, mermaid, Farrah Fawcett. It's very Fox News anchor woman hair. Yeah, she looks like a Fox News anchor woman. Strange, very strange. It kind of makes you wonder why she went to prison, don't it? As if she was testing them to see if she can manage to get something past the guards. I mean, what better place to do it than to put that gigantic wig on your head? But it does look like a wig. I mean, it is a wig. It's obviously a wig. It doesn't set properly. You know what I mean? See how it's riding up on her scalp? It looks very wiggy. It almost seems like she experiments. I told you guys I was going to get a little messy. Now, right here, Battle of the Planet Saving Princes. What's so stupid about this? Now, William must have done a William, and you know what the William is, right? I'll tell you what it is. I think that it involved, let me see, where is it? This. I think not necessarily to him because he's been suspended from the paper, but he must have called in to Lord Nappyhead's paper and asked for a favor, allegedly. It just seems that way because all of a sudden, just before he goes to New York to raise money for his charity, suddenly you see here an article, Battle of the Planet Saving Princes, uses private jet. Now, right there, right out the gate, they lie. Uses private jet? Yes. Uses private jet? No. If it's a government jet, which is identical to a private jet, which, by the way, you guys, Harry has rarely used the private jets. They have flown back and forth on commercial airliners. The last time William has flown commercial, it was only because of Earth Flop. That was the only reason. Environmentally friendly gap year. Let's see. Okay, well, they both did that. But still, this is stupid. Repeatedly wears same Ludlow jacket, wore same velvet jacket in 2019 and 2021. Velvet jacket You mean this, the one that made him look like a bottle of roll-on deodorant? Do you really want to draw attention to William and that green jacket? It, I thought you were supposed to be helping him. If you're trying to help him, don't remind me about this. You shouldn't, you really ought not remind people about this low point in William's fashion life, where he went out there looking just like a bottle of Mitch and Roll-On deodorant. Why would you bring that up? You ought to let people forget this ever happened. But instead, you are shining a light on it. I had almost forgot about it. And I was like, velvet jacket? Velvet jacket? You mean he's worn it before? Are you insane? And then let's see, 2 children, 3 children. Eco patronages equal eco patronages. So let me dissect this. Travelist is for individuals to search out their own awareness about their impact on the environment. Let me see. Rhino conservation and Botswana. Okay. And then for William, you got Tusk Trust. You mean as in ivory? You mean the ivory that is still at the Royal Collection? The one that is still at the Royal Collection? That kind of tusk? British Trust for Ornithology. Well, okay. And then let me see. Fauna and Flora International, Earthshot Prize founder, United for Wildlife founder. If William could describe any of those things without a cue card, I'd be impressed. This is much to do about nothing. Much to do about nothing. Harry has never, Harry has never um, been the type of an I'll put it to you like this. Harry is concerned about the environment. Harry speaks about the environment, but he's not the one that is preaching about it to everybody. The whole travelers thing is for you to monitor your carbon emissions, but nobody has asked you to change your way of life. It's for people who are conscious about it. Just like when it comes to the they always accuse Megan of having been a hypocrite about the environment. I have never heard Megan say anything about it ever. I cannot find any place where Megan has said something about the environment. Now, in terms of food for people, yeah. In terms of shelter for people, sure. There's a lot of things that she is for, but I've never heard her say, just like when it comes to the vaccine inequity, the Sussexes never declared everybody has to have the vaccine. They only wanted to make it available to poor people who want it. That was it. So, as someone who watches Harry every day, I cannot remember the last time that Harry has said anything as lofty as William about the environment. In other words, preaching hypocrisy. When was the last time that Harry went to some environmental thing? William went to the COP or whatever it is, 26 on a train because he didn't want people to know how much he relies on his helicopter. And notice they don't even have private helicopter up there. Did you notice that? This is just an article that they're putting out there to try to make William look responsible before he goes to New York. So in the article, they have a picture of Harry boarding a private jet from about 3 years ago. I'm telling you, the picture is old. It's an old photo of Harry boarding a private jet. There is no photos of William boarding a private jet. And then, of course, there's this. Out of desperation, he drags Kate down to the ocean where they pull out a big lump of seaweed. At first, I thought it was one of Kate's wigs. And I said, no, that can't be. And then I thought it was one of Nana's wigs. And I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, no, it can't be. Okay, so it's not Nana's wig. It's not Kate's wig. It's actually seaweed. I didn't even know what I was looking at. But this is supposed to be like a big lump of seaweed. Again, nothing to do with Nana Akua's hair. Nothing to do with that ridiculous thing that Kate was wearing the other day. None of those bear any resemblance. Well, then again, it does resemble, but it's not what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. So that and look at this. How did Kate have all that hair the other day? And then, did you all notice that Kate does not have her big hair? She's barely wearing any makeup. Is this for the environment? Or did Willie make her get out of the house before the glam squad could get there? Because trust me and believe, you would have to surprise me to get me to come down to the ocean to look at some seaweed. You would have to surprise me. I bet you Kate didn't even know that they were going to look at seaweed. She had no clue that they were going to pose for pictures next to a mountain of seaweed. And that's why that little girl behind her got a stain on her dress, because I think Kate must have thrown a plate of spaghetti in her lap or something. I don't know. They had a luncheon, and next thing you know, the little girl had spaghetti in her lap when nobody was looking. I don't know. I can't say that it's true. Let me see. What is that? Maybe this is what they use to make those hamburgers. What about those hamburgers? Do you think they use this to make those hamburgers that William was cooking? And would you really want to eat any runoff from the coast of the United Kingdom right now? Because you know that there's a runoff from the water system, because it's untreated water that's being released into the environment. Would you really want to eat anything that may have been victim to that runoff? That brown sludge that has been going into the waterways of the United Kingdom? And then William takes that same stuff and makes those vegan hamburgers with it. Yeah. So if you are eating those Prince William vegan burgers, I'm not saying it's made of seaweed, and I'm not saying it's seaweed that has been bathed in that waste running off of the British Isles, but I can't say that it isn't either. So, oh yes, is that what she's? Is that a? I didn't even think about that. I was focusing on the lack of makeup. I didn't even notice the messy bun because I was so preoccupied with the lack of makeup. Yes, you're right. You're right. Oh my goodness, this is a new side of crazy, ain't it? This is a new side of crazy. So she has gone from this big gigantic wig to the Meghan Markle messy bun. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a new type of crazy, ain't it? I feel like I can hear the theme of the Twilight Zone playing somewhere. I can't really hear it. I can just kind of feel it. I feel like someone's playing the theme of the Twilight Zone. Okay. Now, I didn't mention this last week because I didn't want to lay anything heavy on you, but I think I'll talk about this one tomorrow. Wow, today I was one of the most, Wow, today was one of the most surreal days in my career. Prince William's team asked me to spend the day with him visiting businesses in south of England that are doing great work to end homelessness. So, in order to end homelessness, don't talk to the homeless, talk to the business people. If you want to end homelessness, put on your best sport jacket and go and talk to the business people. Don't talk to the homeless. Right. B. Martin says, Baron, would you eat that burger? Look at it. No, I saw the well, I don't know if it was a seaweed burger, but I saw that uh, thing that wasn't it gray? That's what gets me is that it looked like it was gray. The only thing that I know of this gray is like brain matter. Ugh. But yeah, it looked like it was gray. So no. But thank you so much. Okay. And then, of course, along with the other weird articles, see, they're doing a lot of prep work for New York. Awaiting Queen Kate Mail Online survey. Well, we've been hearing that for ages. They only stopped doing that right before the, actually, maybe about a year before the coronation. Actually, I'm going to say they stopped doing that before the Queen died, which was a little over a year ago. But they had this whole campaign of Kate ready to rule, Kate to be queen, waiting to be queen. And then all of a sudden they stopped. And then, of course, what is that one over there? Prince William will look to cement himself as a global statesman. Well, we talked about that one yesterday. But there's a lot of things that need attention back home. There's a lot of things that could use the intervention of the Prince of Wales back home. Like, since he has the Duchy of Cornwall, why not build low income housing in the Duchy of Cornwall? Huh? I'm sure there's people that would move in. I mean, he is the Duke of Cornwall now. And of course, new royal era begins. That is October 2022. Has anything changed for them? No. They just took 13 weeks off from work. Kate and William under pressure. And that was February 2023. Yes. Now, as a response to that pressure, did they do any more work? Well, you know what? To be fair, I'm going to say for a couple months they did. Do you remember that? For a couple months, they wore themselves down and then they took off. But yeah, okay, I'm going to say that they did do more work. Not enough, but they did do something. And of course, we'll never forget how they nearly lost half the Commonwealth. And let's not forget, William and Kate were booed when they were entering Westminster Abbey for the Commonwealth Day. They were roundly booed by those people with the yellow signs back there. So there's that to think of. Irrelevant Magazine 2022. Along with the horse and buggy, the rotary phone, the Rolodex, you got Will and Kate. Irrelevant, superfluous, unnecessary. Now, this is how it started. Prince William announces details of his inaugural Earthshot Prize Award in London. Well, this is the big sweeping campaign, and who knows how much it costs, but I believe it's a church or something, a synagogue or whatever it is. But he's on some balcony or balustrade, and there was a drone camera that pulled away, it panned out. And I guess the window behind him is supposed to represent Earth, maybe. Anyway, who knows what they were trying to imply. But that is part of the scheme. is that it doesn't matter that it makes little or no impact. The thing is, he has to look like he's doing something. Baron, to be fair, those other things had issues. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, Prince William and Kate didn't get the rave reviews they were hoping for in America. Now, British royal family news suggests that it might be a very long time before Prince William and Kate Middleton return to America again. That's because the Prince and Princess of Wales really didn't get the kind of rave reviews they were hoping for during their 3 day visit to Boston. In fact, it seemed like most America really didn't even care that they were there in the first place. Here's what you need to know. Well, we already know. Like I said, it was lackluster. Um, this is his strength right here. Just a typical middle class family. I put that myself. Um, I don't. This is when they were trying to. Okay, after they got the new house, that's when they took this old picture, which I think they used for Christmas also, and they decided to remind you how inexpensive their wardrobes are, as if looking at it is not indication enough. They wanted to remind you that Kate is wearing $59 trainers, a $255 top, and some $18 earrings. And William, no mention of his, so obviously he's the one who made the phone. Says William, they don't have any prices for him, so it's obvious he made the phone call. He's the one that called the Daily Mail and said, look, we need to look like a typical working class family. And they shook their head and said, yes, sir, I understand. And next thing you know, this was in the paper. I would hate for there to be an emergency and to be in that family, because what tells me that will run out of the house or run into the house during an emergency and the rest of the family would be an afterthought? What tells me that? I don't know. And then, of course, in Boston, don't forget Carolyn Kennedy didn't even show up the first night. And then when she came in the next day, she was dressed like she was going to pick up the kids from daycare, or like she was going to the supermarket or something. She didn't even bother to dress up for them. And of course, that was the article that I love so much, is treasured. I have that bookmarked. Bostonians take on the Royals world. I'm sorry, take on the Royals whirlwind. That's a tough one. Visit whatever. Meaning, of course, that was their response to it. Whatever. Most people didn't know or didn't even care. And I love this. I love this. The Prince of Wales, Arasparius. In other words, Arasparius. That was I believe, supposed to. I think that was a dig at Harry, possibly, but to be found stranded in Boston Harbor, the result of inadvertent entanglement in trawling nets, fishing nets. Let me see. Flicks hair raising. Yeah. So if you notice, there's a beach whale, Prince of Wales, and there is the Princess of Wales. You can see the hair. Is she on a half shell? Prince of Wales on a half shell? Huh. I think that's like a half shell, like oysters on a half shell. And of course, if you notice, the Sussexes seem to have harpooned the whale. They seem to have harpooned the whale. So there's a few things going on there. But basically, it was just kind of like a little reminder that it didn't work out like they thought it would. And of course, Era Sparus, the book that is supposed to be a Latin reference to Harry's book, they kind of think that Harry's book is one of the reasons why the Cambridges are, um, fumbling a lot right now. I hope it is. I really do hope it is. Now, while they were in Boston, I almost forgot this happened. Cold front. Prince and Princess of Wales bundle up to meet with Reverend who gave a lecture about legacy of colonialism and racism at Earthshot lunch, hours after Palace race row erupted. So it is not without risk when they come to the United States. This is what I wanted to remind you. It is not without risk when they come to the United States. There are plenty of people that will speak their mind, just like this reverend gave them the what for at the luncheon. I wish there was a video of that. Oh, please let there be a video. If that video could surface, because I would love to know exactly what was said. But yeah, apparently the reverend that was there for the luncheon had a thing or two to say. See, they're not protected when they come over here. They are not protected. They expose themselves. And of course, who can forget the tour of the Caribbean, where they nearly lost half the Commonwealth. Now, interesting enough, William, in that list of things, they declared that William something to do with the rainforest in Belize. Well, wasn't Belize one of the places that they visited on the Caribbean tour? Do you remember how those people were protesting and they couldn't even go to that area because those protesters had scared them away? So again, when they travel, they are exposed. I'm just trying to get your hopes up for New York that they will get the welcome that they deserve. Plane, trains, and automobiles. This is how William usually travels. Whether it's a government jet or whether it's a privately chartered jet, it is still burning tons of fossil fuels, more so than the average person. Again, Harry rarely uses a private jet. And then, of course, there's the helicopters. William actually flew this helicopter. They said he probably wanted to keep his license up to date. But then again, he has 4 homes, and that was not including Adelaide Cottage, I think. He had 4 homes before the Adelaide. I think Adelaide makes 5, right? He has his fleet of helicopters. He has his 3 kids. He has his Range Rovers. And of course, there's the jet that he does use. You know, the one where he hopped out and left his pregnant wife on the steps. Remember that jet? There is that jet that he uses, the one that he jumped out of there so fast and run and meet Prince Hokum, and leaving his pregnant wife to navigate the steps herself. That private jet. God, I hope there's some derangers in here. Let me see. Why is a killer whale? Why is he a killer whale? Killer whales are orcas, not whales. Sorry, the scientist in me is bothered by the image, but I guess it's an esoteric point. Esoteric legs. Are you really pulling big words on me at this hour? Esoteric. I bet you're probably sitting there right now with a wager. You're probably having a wager with somebody else in the Sussex squad. Watch this. Esoteric point. Although I almost didn't get it. I almost didn't get it. But no, I understand what you're saying. Thank you, Legs. But it is make believe. Just like Kate's hair, make believe. Okay. Oh, there we go. So, and of course, there was the Flyby scheme. That's not mentioned in the article. And what about William and Kate Middleton's Kensington Palace flat refurbishment, costing the taxpayers $4.5 million? Well, he's a billionaire now. Do you think he'll have to pay it back? Not. And let's not forget that £2 million driveway in Admiral Hall. There's the Adelaide Cottage. It's supposed to be the little house. Remember how they said they're going to be bursting at the seams? They won't even have room for live-in staff. No, they won't have to live in the same house. There's a house behind it for them. There's a cottage behind the cottage. That's why they don't stay in the house. See, there are no modern, up-to-date photos of Adelaide Cottage. I cannot find one. You either have this from the satellite or you have some grainy black and white photos. For some reason, there are no photos of Adelaide Cottage, not a full, complete photo. As you can see, they have those big hedges and everything. So they're not even the Google Maps. You can't even see it from the Google Maps or anything like that. There is no photos of it. But this is all we have. And even though they told that big story about it being too small, they didn't mention anything about the other house behind it or cottage behind it. Who's going to live there? The helicopter pilot? Wait, remember when the Queen, well, they said the Queen said that William shouldn't fly his whole family on the helicopter? I wonder why. I wonder why. Anyway, so this is a feeble attempt to try to big up William before New York. I don't know who the audience is. I don't know who's supposed to read about William winning the race of the environment against Harry. I don't know who's supposed to read it, and I don't know who's supposed to care. The young people do care about the environment. But William is not going to win anybody over to Camp Wells because of Earthflop. Earthflop has holes big enough to fly a helicopter through it. It's not what it pretends to be. It is just a vanity project of William. I believe William has some 33 patronages, and the Queen had what? Hundreds of them, hundreds of patronages. And so the excuse from Camp William was that they want to focus on the quality, not the quantity. Either way is a losing proposition. He's only coming to New York to compete against Harry. I don't even think the money is that important. He just wants to be in New York. He wants to look like he's actually doing something. The only thing better than doing something is looking busy, and that's what he's doing. There won't be any great gains out of it. They're going to big him up. They're going to pretend like he's done so much, but it's going to be much to do about nothing. Just like when they went to you see that shopping bag that Kate has? Do you realize that shopping bag is supposed to feed every Ukrainian migrant in London? They're at the Ukrainian Center, right? The Ukrainian Cultural Center. And they brought a shopping bag with some brownies, some granola bars, and God knows what else. That is supposed to provide nourishment to all of the Ukrainians in London. That is supposed to provide nourishment to all of the Ukrainians in London. I think so. I think that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, they are at the Ukraine Center, right? And there are people who were displaced by war. So I don't see blankets. I don't see clothes. I don't even see food vouchers that they passed out. But they do have some brownies and some granola bars.
We can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's got more than financial.
well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's got more than financial.
well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
So, in Spaces today, somebody mentioned resume. Now, they said when you go to a room full of high achievers, when you go to an event and you are asking them to back your project, you are asking them for some type of financial assistance for your project. Someone said that they look at what you have achieved yourself. Like, for instance, Harry being with Ballet since age 19, was it? Harry, who started the Invictus games 9 years ago. I mean, Harry didn't just start the Invictus games. Harry had to go to the board of the what was it, the Prince's Trust or the Royal Trust, is it? Harry had to sit there before them and make a proposal. He had to ask for his money that he raised. I mean, they do have a board that oversees the money. He had to go behind William's back to ask for the money, because if he had brought it up to William, William wasn't gonna, he didn't want to have anything to do with it. If you read Spare, then you know that William wanted the military for himself. But they listened to Harry and they believed what he had to say. He had a working knowledge of how to do what needed to be done. And I'm reasonably certain that Harry didn't have a bunch of people sitting around whispering in his ear and telling him what to say, like a United States congressperson that has been in office too long. I doubt if that happened. I'm pretty sure that Harry went in there with the strength of conviction, with a knowledge of what needed to be done, with a vision, a blueprint for exactly what he proposed based on the Wounded Warrior games in the US. I'm pretty sure that he had all of that laid out and made a case for the funding, most of which he raised. It was his personality that raised that money. It was his name that attracted people to put money in there in the first place. William was so far away from the throne at the time, nobody was interested in him. And we'll see how much money he gets now. I'm worried. Does New York have enough empty spaces to support a visit from Will? That will be. Where will the crickets gather? Well, I wonder if they even bother to put those barriers up. I mean, they were so unnecessary last time. Why would they bother with them this time? But thank you for the super chat. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is Harry knows about it. This is why he wanted to get in production, because he has an eye for these things. He has an eye for detail. I mean, we saw how things worked out beautifully with the Invictus game last time and the time before that. So, like, for instance, do you think that Harry would have an event where you're giving out money to the worthy recipients that were the ones that came up with ways to help ease the burden of society? Do you think that Harry would have an event like that and then not invite the winners, but instead you will have David, Where's My Knighthood Beckham show up. You would have those girls come and sing. You fly in everybody else except for the winners. Wow. Who does that? Have you ever heard of a Nobel Peace Prize where they didn't invite the person who won? You know what I'm saying? Unless that person is incarcerated, they usually show up. But William has an event called Earth Shot to reward people for clever ideas on the environment, and yet they were not invited to the party. And let's not forget, you know, I got to rub it in. Earth Flop was supposed to be like the Super Bowl. They said that it would be like the Super Bowl. Now, even Invictus, as big as the Invictus game was, opening, closing, and everything in between, it was not the Super Bowl. So, if that wasn't the Super Bowl, how in the world was something as boring? Didn't they get people that called in to complain about their television being interrupted with the Earth flop? Didn't people call and complain to Ofcom? B. Martin, henceforth, they tried to latch on to it. Exactly. But I do believe there were people who called in complaints, wrote emails complaining because this event, which was so lavish that only a family of 4 gathered beyond the gate, this event that had electric cars and had a prince in a deodorant costume, this event that was supposed to change the way we think about the environment, or Prince William, well, it had about as much impact as, let me see. I guess the last season of a sitcom that had been on the air too long. I don't know. It didn't cut the mustard. It didn't make an impact. It just didn't. That's the whole point. It just didn't. And then if that wasn't bad enough, then you come to Boston, and I still don't know why they chose Boston, but you come to Boston and you try the same nonsense over there, but this time you declare that it's going to be the Super Bowl of whatever it is. And wah wah, it was a big flop. A big flop. An earth flop. There was no there. It was lackluster, boring. It rained horribly the night it started, just like the Coronation, now that I think of it. But it rained horribly. It was nothing. It was nothing. So, with that out of my system, I am going to go back to our faves. I believe Harry, Meghan, and Doria, as I said, after their trip to New York and so on. Not only do I believe them, but I believe in them, and I support them. And I'm just like that lady from the islands. It's all in his book. He's bringing it out right now. Oh man, let me see. The same impact as the opening of an envelope. There you go. Perfect. You get a bell for that. I like that. So anyway, that is that for tonight. Thank you, everyone. Do make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Also, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to Royal Sussex. And love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. It's been raining here today, so I'm kind of, but yeah, it's been raining today. Hey, Sussex Rising, thank you so much for being here. And you know what? I just noticed Yulibi has a channel, right? I think I just subscribed to Yulibi's channel. Did you guys know that Yulibi has a channel? I think so. I'm sure it's the same Yulibi that's in the chats all the time. So if you see it, make sure you check it out. Oh, let me see. Oh, yes, the Centibale. The Centibale, yeah. That's it. Wow, what did I say before? I thought I mentioned that one. But anyway, and didn't Harry donate some money from the book? Of course, they're not going to mention that, but he had a big pledge from his book. And didn't Megan donate money from the lawsuit? And that's the other thing. The Sussexes don't ask for money. They just ask, what can I do? What kind of help do you need? That's what the Sussexes do. Good night, Brenda Lawler. Oh, is Yulibi here? I didn't see. I'm pretty sure that oh, there you go. Yes. Well, you know what? I think you all can just click on her. Let me see if that works. I think you all can just click on the well, anyway. Oh, okay. Rohini. Oh, okay, there we go. Night Baron, the old lady next to me on the ward says to say night. Oh, okay. Well, good night, and good night to the old lady next to you. I didn't know that you had other people listening. That is quite nice. Thank you very much. Well, good night to you both. And yes, good night, Rohini. Thank you so much for being here, as per usual. We're going to have to do one of our old school talks again one day. Preferably a day when you haven't worked all day, because I don't want you to be tired and having to. Although I'm sure you enjoyed the company, having the Sussex squad hanging out with you. Let's see. The power couple turned it up. Yes, turned it up. That's right. They ask what do they need. They don't ask for money. They do not ask for money. That whole thing about the Royals not giving money, that may change. We always hear that they spent some money or gave, well, not they, but Charles in the past, they would say that. But, well, now we know where the money comes from. It's not their personal money, is it? It is not their personal money. Oh, you're spending. You were sick the other day, right? Weren't you? All right. I think I remember now. Rohini, you're in the hospital? Oh my goodness. I thought you worked in the hospital. You're in the hospital. Okay. Let me think about this. Was I listening to was it Duchess of Advocacy, or was it VS Speaks Royal? But I heard somebody asking you about a fever or something like that. So anyway, I hope you feel better. Yeah, I think it's all running together in my head because I forgot who I listened to when. But I do think I heard something about that earlier. So, well, I am sorry you're under the weather, and I do hope you feel better fast. So you're spending the night in the hospital. Oh my goodness, that's unfortunate. Well, anyway, we are going to pray for you as per usual. And you're in the hospital and listening to Royal Sussex. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. I don't know if that's supposed to help or hurt. Especially since I keep seeing, I don't even want to say the word, but I keep seeing things that aren't there. Especially since I keep seeing human anatomy. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. But yeah, that's a tough break, Rohini. I hope you feel better. Oh, you're on your way home. All right, get there safe, Janet Lavalley. Rohini, do you want me to play a video for you? Is there anything you want to see? Let me know. Oh, I know what you want to see. I know what you want to see. Hold on, Rohini. This always makes me feel better. I got you. I got you. I mean, is there anything else that puts you in a good mood better than that handsome virgin? Yeah. That handsome virgin. Okay, they used to call me Snow White, but I drifted. Cambridge Curl. You know, I don't have a video for Cambridge Curl. I use my slides and of course, Cambridge Curl. But I tell you what, for you, I am going to make a Cambridge Curl video. It deserves a video, right? Cambridge Curl. The No Lie Royal Relaxer. Cambridge Curl. And then, of course, you have to have that big ending. Cambridge Curl. Oh, okay. Okay. So, thank you to our queens, our queen, Diana, and our queen, Doria. All right. And of course, our last word of the day. There we go. There's the last word. Baron can't stop seeing prostates and boobs, so something happened. There you go. That's our last word of the day. Okay. Oh man, I'm not sure what happened today, but it'll be better tomorrow, I promise. Okay, and with that, let me cue the Ginger Avenger.
Prince Harry, and Prince Harry should be king. He should be king. Prince Harry, not William. William and all of them in there, Camilla is the wicked witch of the devil himself, because she is part of why Princess Diana is not here. I do not like them. I am from the islands, and we don't need them in the Caribbean. Get lost. Demolish the monarchy. This is 2023, okay? And I will support Harry 100%. I do feel for him. Yes, I do. And everything in the book is the truth. And Charles is the monster, not Harry. Harry is no monster, not Meghan. He's bringing the story out right now. They are evil people. They are not nice. Behind the wall, we all are one human being, and behind that wall there are no difference with me and you and any other Brits. Give the people back the money. They are just welfare recipients living off the taxpayers of the British people, and the British people are stupid supporting that nonsense monarchy. It is nothing. It's just a title. It means nothing. A title. I'm angry at them.